How you prepare for a golf tournament?
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
Well, that sounds like a hell of a plan. Welcome into the Daily Puck Drop. We are in the Puck Sports Studios, built by Limbach Lumber, Northwest premier supplier of specialized lumber and moldings. Family owned and serving the Northwest since 1930. Summer is here. That means it's deck and fence season. Contact Limbach Lumber, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. Puck Sports Studios, built by Limbach Lumber. It is a Wednesday. That means the great Jim Moore is here, paying a visit with us here on the DPD, which, of course, you can watch on YouTube, listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, and, of course, pucksports.com. Jimmy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Puck. My goal today is to not interrupt you because I don't want to disappoint Blake Heath. Remember, we used to hear from Blake all the time at KJR. And Blake said the other day on Twitter, hey, legend has it that you're still interrupting Puck. And then I was thinking, well, legend has it, Blake, that you're still a dick. You know, I mean, come on, Blake.
Blake's still reaching out to you, huh?
And then Blake, every once in a while, when you
Blake.
When you called him a dick, he would be like, hey, you know, I'm listening, man. I really like you guys. I give you compliments, too. It's okay. I mean, I like Blake. I mean, you can't.
I don't think I've ever come across a listener that would shit on people more than listener Blake. But yet, here's the key about listener Blake. That listens every day. That's what I always tell people, like younger people in this business. Don't worry about what people say. It does, as long as they listen. And Blake's the exact example of that. He's just that guy is on you every single day. But you know what? He's listening because he likes the car wreck. That's exactly why.
I guess. I think I've told you, but when I got hired at 710, it was basically because there were 4 or 5 voicemails to Dave Pridemore, my boss. Yeah. And everyone was like, God, this Moore guy sucks. Can't stand him. He's terrible. He's a moron. He's an idiot. And then Dave stopped the voicemails and he looked at me and he goes, this is why I'm hiring you. It's like, oh, okay.
Now, how did that make you feel? I'm curious. So you're hiring me because they hate me.
Well, I think you either want to be liked or hated, but you don't want to be in between. And so, I mean, you know me. I've never gotten confrontational. I'm kind of surprised I call Blake a dick, but he is, and he probably knows that. But
he's a good dick, right?
Are there good dicks? I think if you're a dick, you're not a good person. You're not. Well, you can be a good person, but you can be a dick in some areas. Like right now, my neighbor, he thinks I'm a dick.
Oh, we're gonna get to a neighbor update. It's funny that you heard from Blake, where Blake is telling you, "Hey, stop interrupting him." I got somebody on the comment section on YouTube was like, "Can you just let them talk, please?" And he was arguing with me about specifically about Krueger. He's like, "Can you just let Krueger finish his thought?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. I will. My apologies. But as you know, and this is just to, take people behind the scenes, I would say, if you agree or disagree, Bill is one of the hardest guys to interview. Not because of what he says, it's that he pauses and he doesn't finish his thought. So he does this when you answer a question. Well, I think, Julio Rodriguez is a little overpaid, and I think that he could learn to probably use his hands better. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think he's a good player. And the dance with Bill can be challenging, right?
No, I remember at the station when we interviewed Bill, it was always, I didn't want to interrupt him, but I didn't want too much dead air either. There was an in between there.
It's hard. And for you, you've been doing it. How long did you do radio? You were at 710 for how long?
10 years, I think.
Okay,
10,
and then
10
KJR
plus.
for 2-3 years, right? 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did it long enough. And the one thing that puts the scare in anyone that does radio is silence. And it's hard, like dead air, like 2 seconds to the people listening, 2 seconds is just 2 seconds. But for people that do live TV or radio, 2 seconds feels like an hour.
It does. It does. You're right. No, and Bill's one of those guys too, and we all have our little voice ticks or whatever, but
Yeah.
he'll end sentences with, yeah, Julio Rodriguez, he's a really good center fielder, right? And then, you got Ty France, and the Reds are getting a fairly good player, right? There's a lot of rights in there. Like,
yeah, there is a lot of rights.
And we never say, no, you're wrong, Bill, after he says right, because he's always right. I listened to him yesterday, by the way. You're right, man. He's fantastic.
It's changed.
It's almost like he's going, hey, you know what? I don't give a shit if Root Sports executives are listening anymore. I'm just going to tell you what I think. And if they don't like it, that's too bad, because I'm not getting as many appearances with Angie anymore anyway. So what the hell?
Well, I think it's refreshing how he talks. I'll be honest with you, and it's not to say that it's Brad's role is different, right? He's a host. He's a host at Root Sports, and Angie's got one of those where she's got to balance both, right? Because she's a host, but also an analyst. And by the way, she's a terrific analyst. But I think you can even be the hometown team's broadcast and still be critical without going over the line, name calling or making it personal. I don't think has made it personal with anyone. I mean, there's just certain things that that bother him. The amount of pitchers or the pitches that these guys throw, innings, all that kind of stuff that bothers him. I think at times the look at me. I think this is what bothers him sometimes a little bit with Julio. It's the look at me kind of new player. But I don't think Julio goes out of control. That I just think he's having fun. But I like that he's critical, that he has a critical eye and a critical tongue, I should say. That's good. It's refreshing. I mean,
as Mariner fans, we're all watching the games, and, just don't blow smoke up our skirts. That's all. You don't have to trash on a guy like you did with Polanco. I mean, you don't have to go out of your way to do that. But there's a way that you can trash on people without trashing on them.
Hey, did I trash on Polanco? I did,
I think so.
God, I really did. And you know what? I mean, look who's the fool now? Me.
Yeah, 4 home runs on the trip, and he had an RBI double off the wall. But no, and Krueger yesterday, when I was listening to him, I mean, it was just fantastic. Talking about, so I know he hates the sweeper too. I mean, he hates that term. But he just was talking, and I'd never really heard this before, but talking about the east-west movement on the ball, doesn't like that. If you make a mistake with that, you're going to just pay for it. And then talking about Santos, I think most of us are looking at Santos going, okay, this guy
great
could
pickup.
Really, yeah. And then Bill's like, yeah, you can DFA him and I'd be okay.
I did kind of come away thinking, does he want him off the team? But then so that was on Krueger's on Mondays for those who don't know. Mondays we release everything at 1:00. And then we had Brad on yesterday before the deadline for his weekly show, Brad Adam Root Sports. And even Brad said that. I mean, and you have to go back and then look at his game logs with Santos. Like, you're right. I mean, it's those first 2 outings, he was pretty good. The last few, he's been a little shaky. And what I liked from Krueger on Monday talking about Santos was, maybe I've heard this before, but his, what did he say? His fastball doesn't play, is it heavy? His fastball doesn't play heavy. And I'm like, what do you mean doesn't play heavy?
Yeah, I've heard that term too.
Yeah, he goes, well, it's because his fast, it's like, he hits 99, 100 sometimes.
What is it, too straight?
He says that he exposes it too much.
Oh, he in his windup.
So he drops his glove too much, so that it's coming, that it doesn't play as heavy as it should, because the hitter knows exactly what's coming. I thought, no, that's the type of stuff. That's why we bring Krueger on.
And then he talked about the hitters sitting on the slider because Santos can't throw the fastball for a strike consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's terrific. I love that he's kind of unleashed. I mean, it is
Krueger Unleashed. We should probably rename it.
Yeah.
The Krueger Unleashed podcast. I want to thank quickly. You could have been a part of it yesterday, but you decided not to be a part of the live MLB draft show that we were had on X. It was supposed to be on YouTube. I'm not sure what happened, but it wasn't on. It didn't. The stream didn't work on YouTube, but it worked on X. Had damn near 5,000 people streaming. That thing was unbelievable. That was great. I mean, in the middle of the afternoon. I mean, we started at 1:30. We had Jim Duquette live from the New York Mets SNY set for a half an hour, breaking down the very latest of the trades and the rumors and the gossip and all that. And then for a full hour, sitting in Fenway, in the stands at Fenway, was Ryan Divish from 2 to 3. So it was great. The 90 minutes of an MLB trade deadline show. Unfortunately, nothing happened during that time.
No, but I listened. I was one of those 5,000 listeners yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Out walking the dogs, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, just like your NFL draft coverage. I mean, you're doing different stuff here in addition to your regular stuff. And
you should have been along for the ride. You would have loved it yesterday. Would I have been great.
Added? What would I have said?
What did I add? I didn't add anything.
Yeah, you did. You're following it closer than I am.
Yeah,
I don't want to be totally exposed on some of this stuff, Like, I don't.
Wow.
I mean, you know what? Hey, Jim,
we're exposed daily.
Like, if you had said all of a sudden after Duquette left, and there was a little gap between Duquette and Ryan.
There was a panic moment there between Duquette and Divish, because Divish was supposed to come on right at 2:00, and then like 5 minutes before, he's like, "Oh, service is talking. I can't be on right away." I'm like, "Oh shit!" and then Duquette and Jim had to be done right at 2:00. I'm like, "All right." So there was like a 10-minute where I'm really feeling it, and I'm like,
"Yeah, well, you did fine. I mean, you think you didn't do that well or whatever, but you handled it like a pro."
I contemplated should I just end it?
No. But Puck, if you'd had me, it'd be like, "Oh, okay, hey Jim, they just got this Chargois from Miami. Can you give us your thoughts on him?" I'd be like, shit, I don't know, man. I mean, I remember when he pitched for the Mariners, though. But I don't remember him being either.
I barely remember.
I don't remember him being good or bad. So he was probably.
He was okay.
Like
good.
Snyder, Voth, or whatever. But he seems to be better than that now. Yeah.
One thing we haven't done since you and I have been back together, and so now here on the platform that I record on, now we can incorporate video like elements into the show. I don't know if you've ever seen this. You think we should? Do you want to see Grape Lady?
I think I've seen it once, but can you bring her back now?
Sure.
I mean, but what about?
Here you go. Gets me every time. My favorite part.
No, I think she is. Yeah, she's hurt. She took a
Youch.
fall off there. Okay. Gosh, I hope she's okay.
Yeah, she was never okay. There she is. Because there's a lot of people that we played it on the radio, and they're like, I don't know what that's from. And we always try to explain, well, it's a video. It's an old video from a TV station years ago.
You should try and get her for an episode.
I don't think she wants to talk.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure I read that she left TV.
Because of that?
Because of that.
If you were in her shoes, would you have done that too?
You probably.
No, I kind of miss the Grape Lady, though. That was a staple of your show for years and years. And I figured that it was just KJR telling you couldn't use it.
No, it's been I just heard it. It was when you started when I started this new platform. There was going to be new listeners that were coming in, and I think that they wouldn't understand what it is. And they didn't want to explain it every time. But now that there's video to us, maybe people will get it more. I miss playing it. Maybe we'll start playing it. But I love the John Daly thing. Now I've fell in love with the John Daly intro.
Yeah. Well, do you think old listeners actually understood why you played it?
No.
I mean,
I think old listeners like Blake hated it.
God, Blake's a dick. He really is.
You said that.
Have I made that point clear?
I think you've made it clear that you don't like Blake. Sorry, Blake, I love you. So thank you for watching.
You don't love Blake. I've heard you off the air talking about Blake.
Thank you
muted
for
Blake.
watching and listening on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Blake, whenever you're listening to this.
You're so full of it.
Blake, I love you.
You hate Blake.
Blake, it's not true.
You don't want Blake as a listener.
Blake, I want them all. Every listener that we can possibly get. Okay, we need them all.
Yeah.
So trades. What do you think? They're better.
Well,
how much better?
How
much
better?
Okay, but how much better? How much better are they?
A lot better. I mean,
a lot better.
Yeah, don't you think? I mean, and we always talk about how negative. Well, at least I do. I always talk about how negative I am. I think the 4 guys they got. I mean, they made a marked improvement in the team, and you can see it. And I think we talked about it on Monday. I mean, there's that mental, emotional aspect to it too. Raleigh's talked about it, boosting morale. And I think it's a combination of things. I mean, you bolstered your bullpen have we figured out, is it Jimmy actually? It's not Yimmy. I want Yimmy, but.
I talked to, Brad and I talked about this. We're going with Yimmy.
Yeah.
It just sounds better. In fact, we've also changed, and he's not going to be a part of the team. It's too bad, but it's Luis Robert. I'm not going with Robert anymore. He doesn't sound like Robert. It's Robert. It has to be Robert, right?
The guy who strikes out every time?
Yeah, but I'm not calling him Jimmy Garcia. It's a Yimmy.
No. Yeah, it reminds me of my bookie back in the day. He would call me, "Hey, Yimmy. Hey, Yimmy, how you doing, Yimmy?"
Okay, now we're gonna call you Yimmy now for now on.
Hey,
that's
how's
your
it
new
going?
name.
Do I owe you another $500? Okay, I'll meet you this week to pay you.
Well, you're
off,
gonna owe me money. We'll get to that later.
No, you know what you're doing?
What?
And I want to get in, I actually have some solid thoughts about Justin Turner. That is the move, the best move they made. I wanted him in the offseason. Do you remember? Well, you don't always listen to me, but I mentioned that on the show that I have always loved Justin Turner. And I know he's old, but did you see his interviews too? He smiles as much as Julio.
I saw his post-game interview with Brad or with Sims and Blowers. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, pregame too in the dugout. Oh. And, he's talking about, I mean, here's a guy he's just used to it. He even says he's seen it all, and he can really bring that clubhouse presence that we're talking about. So you got a Rosarina who has the flair, and you got the tangible aspect with him, and fun to watch. And Turner, you've got the intangible aspect with him. Plus, you got a guy who puts the ball in play. We saw that. That wasn't that great of. I mean, it was a nice little single he had to right field.
That was a great hit. He went down and got it and poked it into right field.
Yeah.
Now, he's not fast. He should have been going to second base, but whatever.
But okay. But most of the Mariners probably would have struck out on that pitch.
Yeah. Listen, I think you bring up that was a great hit. Like that really is a great hit. Because you're right. There's a lot of those guys that would have struck out on that one. He went down and got it and just got a hit. He makes contact. He's always made contact in his career because, right, it's the cliche. He's a professional hitter. Well, he is a professional hitter. And they need more of those guys. Now, I like the move. There's no downside of them adding Justin Turner.
Not at all.
No.
39, and he can still swing it. I think his average has been 300 in July. So, yeah, he still seems to have it, and just seems like I go back to the Dodgers days, and you remember just the flowing red hair, the big red beard, and always coming through in the biggest moments. It's just same thing with the Rosarina. So you got guys who have not only been there, but they've excelled when they've been there.
I think that stuff's important. I mean, I do. Maybe it's overblown. Divish, I think it's a little overblown sometimes with the veteran presence. But what the hell does Divish know? He didn't know anything. I mean, he didn't have any veteran presence in his life, so the hell does he know? But yeah, I think that stuff's important. I would say that. I mean, if you're going to give it a grade, I think it was a B. I think they're one bat short. I think they desperately needed another bat to make them truly a World Series contender. Now, I would say that who knows if they tried or didn't try. And they may have had a huge offer out there for Guerrero or Diaz or Luis Robert. They may have had those deals out there that simply those other teams just said, no, we're not moving them. I mean, it just seems like from the get-go, Duquette for months has been saying, when we were talking about trades, they are not going to trade them. They just will not trade them. And so maybe it doesn't matter what they offer. Maybe they offered Ford and they offered Hancock and they offered Cole Young and another guy. They just said, no, we don't want them. And there's nothing you can do. That's not
No.
Dipoto's fault. That's no one's fault.
It's just
But
like when we talk about in the offseason, we assume Jerry's hands are tied, but there might be cases. In fact, there probably are where hitters are telling their agents, I'm not going to Seattle, man. I'm not going unless the offer blows me out of the water. Like Mitch Garver, nobody was offering him $12 million. Even at the time, we thought, boy, that's pretty high price for him. But I'm sure if they'd offered 8 or 10, he would have been like, nah, not a hitter's park. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that for what they were able to do, I think it was a good deadline. I think it was a good deadline. I just think that they are a bat short, but that bat short is because of what they didn't do in the offseason. And I just think it was too hard. It was going to be too hard for them to address all of it. You want to hear Divish from yesterday, his thoughts on the deal? And I only want you to hear this so I can just play around with this new tool, okay?
Okay. Well, because I already listened to him yesterday, so.
Well, you think there's someone that didn't hear it?
I know,
think
but
there's someone that didn't watch it?
But you asked me specifically.
That's a fair point. Divish yesterday.
You could have said, do you think listeners or viewers would like to hear what Divish said yesterday? And I'm sure there are people out there going, yeah, I would, but.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's a better way to put it. Here's Divish yesterday at Fenway. His thoughts on what the Mariners did at the deadline. If it plays. It eventually will play, I promise.
I feel like from a production standpoint, you've upgraded at left field and first base. I mean, like even if the raw numbers of Turner, they're not like overwhelming, but like you feel like you still have a productive player at first base. And then you added 2 arms to the bullpen that you feel like
didn't notice that he was picking his nose.
What you've been rolling out there. Do I think they're a better team after this trade deadline? Yeah. And they didn't get maybe the bats they wanted, but I don't know how much those bats were available from what it sounds like, because nobody got these guys.
Now, to his point, he's right, and I'm going to play another bite from Jerry Dipoto's Zoom call yesterday. I was surprised to not see you on that Zoom call. Thought you would have jumped right on that, but I
like the closed caption that you have. For those of us who are hard of hearing, I mean, I appreciate that.
I don't do that. The AI machine does that. But these were the names that were dealt. I mean, okay, a Rosarena's in the same category, but these were the hitters. There just were not the big bats that Alonso didn't get traded, Guerrero didn't get traded, Robert didn't get traded. I mean, Chisholm goes to the Yankees. He's on fire since joining the Yankees. Paredes goes to the Cubs. Soler goes back to the Braves. Austin Hayes goes to the Phillies, and then it's a Rosarena. Yeah, I mean, they probably have the second best bat that was traded.
I mean, I'm just looking at. I would give him an A on this, and I would say,
"Oh, you've gone A."
Well, yeah, I would give him an A, and in baseball terms, I think you're giving him a double. I'd say they hit a triple actually, and it was a stand-up triple. It wasn't sliding into third base, barely beating the relay throw. I mean, I think they really did well at the deadline. They've gone from being awful to watch. People were tuning them out. I mean, has there ever been a first place team where people didn't want to watch them anymore? But that's where we were last week. And now you watch them and you go, it doesn't even seem like the same team. You've got the same pitching, but it doesn't look like the same. When you watch the lineup, you're going, God, they might actually produce 39 runs in 5 games on this trip. You've got, you talk about me making stupid bets with Sam Howell, and I would probably tend to agree with you at this point. But you're costing your listeners and viewers a lot of money this year with what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you really are. You got to stop with the underbet because they have a lineup now.
Can't stop now. 33, 39, and 2 now on the Bet M's summer under. I think it's a 6-game losing streak currently.
Yeah, I know. What are you doing?
Well, I'm just going to keep doing it. George Kirby against Bello today. You know what? And forgive me, I didn't even see what the total was today.
Is it Bayo or Bello?
What did I say?
Bello?
Oh, Bayo.
His ERA's over 5, though. And have you noticed in this series how many balls have gone off the Green Monster? It's a hitter's park.
It's
take
unbelievable.
The over.
Well, of course. Okay, I mean, of course, take the over. But I'm just telling you, I'm married to taking the under.
I know you're married to it. You can divorce yourself from that.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yes, you can.
I'm not
the
going
team
to.
has changed now. The team has changed. They can actually score runs now.
I'm not a quitter. I don't hedge. Oh, God, you know what the total is today? Jesus.
Was it 8.5?
9.5.
9.5?
When is the last time you have seen a baseball game with a total of 9.5?
Well, you'd have to take the under, wouldn't you? Because I know that
Well, I'm
Kirby's
taking the under because
Kirby's pitching.
Yeah, taking the under. Hey, so do you want to hear what you want to see your good buddy Jerry Dipoto's thoughts on what happened yesterday?
Yeah, I love Jerry.
Of course you do. I mean, Jerry, you love Dipoto.
This year we feel like we're in a more meaningful position.
Look at him.
As opposed to any of the last 3 years, really, because this year we have an opportunity to go win a division, and that's very different than playing for a second or a third wild card in a lot of ways. So we took it seriously, and I think we went in and while we might not have been able to do all the things we wanted to do or dreamed of doing, we did the things that we could do, and I think we made a meaningful difference in making our team.
How does he get his hair that spiky? And should someone his age have it that spiky?
Yeah, he carries it well. I think he pulls it off.
I agree. He does.
How long do you think he stands in front of the mirror
to get that?
My contention is a guy shouldn't stand in front of the mirror more than 30 seconds.
I think he stands in front of the mirror for a long, long time. I would say 20 minutes to get that hair. Don't you think?
You think he tries to get every strand in place?
Well, look at it. Look how beautiful they look. I mean, yeah. Don't you think?
Probably. Hey, how many times? Okay, along those lines.
Sorry. My bad.
Well, that's okay.
My bad.
You want to hear from Jim Duquette?
No, that's fine. It played too early.
Okay. Along those lines, Mikey does this all the time, where he holds up his phone and looks at himself, to see how he's looking. I mean, do you ever use your phone as a mirror?
I do not.
I don't either.
I don't really want to look
but
at
I guess
myself.
People do that all the time. Yeah. But I'd feel weird doing that. I feel weird doing those daily gym drops when I was kind of mocking what you were doing.
Yeah. Why don't you do those anymore? I knew that would fall off.
Everything else.
Oh, the consistent with you. Yeah. I mean, you just.
Yeah. I was just doing it to poke fun at you.
Yeah, no, I didn't appreciate it. Didn't appreciate it one bit. Yeah. All right. You want to see what grade did you give the Mariners?
Yeah, like an A.
An A.
And the Justin Turner move pushed it over the top for me. I just think we're going to look back on this season and go, hey, he was 39 and we didn't, think that much of him when he came over. And sure, he was good with the Dodgers, but his best years are behind him. But I think we're going to look at Justin Turner and go,
okay.
Like the same thing with like Santana when he came in. I love that veteran presence.
All right.
To have that, and he's got it in spades.
I can't remember exactly. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember. I asked Duquette this very question yesterday. What grade would he give the Mariners? I can't remember exactly what he gave.
Give me a grade right now. What the M's have done.
Boy, I got to give him a B+. It might be the highest grade that you're going to see out there. When these articles that come out, they will definitely be one of the winners of this trade deadline. And I'd throw a B+ on there. If they found another corner bat, I would give him an A. So we'll see.
God, he's the best. I'm just going to tell you right now. That guy is the best.
No, he's dialed in, man. And you get extra stuff from him about Dipoto because Dipoto's on his Sirius show all the time.
His Service and Dipoto are on his show on Sundays, MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM. I want to every 2 weeks or something like that. Maybe every month. I think every month.
Yeah. No, I don't have any issues at all with what they've done. I think it's great.
Okay, so
I'm fired up about it.
So you think this what they have done so World Series good? That this is a team that can go compete for a World Series right now?
Well, I think so. I've changed my mind since Monday because of Turner being added since then. I mean, Chargois or whatever. Okay. Whatever. But the Turner move makes me feel like they can not only win the division, but maybe make it to the ALCS anyway.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to beat Baltimore or New York, but they could. I mean, look at Chisholm, what he's doing. God.
How about that? Hey, folks, I don't know if you caught that right there, a viewer or listener. I don't know if they're going to beat the Orioles, but they could. See, when you subscribe to this show at Puck Sports and the daily puck drop that we do every day at 10 a.m. with the great Jim Moore, this is what you get out of both of us right here.
Okay, I'm glad you said both of us because,
I'll throw myself under the bus. Yeah.
Your Seahawks analysis, especially the one day when you talked about
offensive line.
Well, you got all those weapons, but man, if you can't block, then you're really not going to be able to move the ball the way the Seahawks hope they can. That was
spitting the truth, my friend. Spitting the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spitting
you are
the truth. All right. So,
well, do you think they're good enough to beat Baltimore or New York?
Well, going into Yankee Stadium would scare me just because of it's like playing the Red Sox and at Fenway.
Okay, 10 series against Baltimore and New York. If you played 10 against each one of them,
you know what?
In the ALCS, you'd win 3 of them.
Yeah, I just think their pitching is so good. I mean, it's so good. They just got to get in there. They just got to get in there, and the game shortens anyways once you get in there, and pitching for the most part tends to dominate once you get in the playoffs. But yeah, of course, they just need it. I guess the worry is, do they have enough to get there? It's not so much once they get in. I think that they'll be one of the teams that everyone's going to circle. Go, I don't want to face those guys. It's, do they have enough offense to actually get in there and not be caught by Houston, or if they don't win the division? I mean, I know they're striking distance of the wild card, but most likely they're going to have to win the American League West to get in.
Yeah. Well, what are they out? 3.5 in the wild card? 2.5 maybe?
I think it was 2.5. Last time I checked, I think it was like 2.5.
Yeah. Well, with the team they have now, they could make up that ground, but I'm with you on that. You got to win the division, or and then get the home playoff games.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? I mean, as great as it was a couple of years ago, and they're up, a game up on Houston, as we record this on Wednesday, as great as that was, they had one playoff game. You know what I mean? Like one. Like we need more than that.
Yeah. 18 innings.
So I mean, I think that. Yeah, I think they have as good a shot as anyone. I don't think there's a team out there that you say that doesn't have a flaw, right? I mean, if you look at the Yankees, the flaw would be, are they top heavy with Soto and Judge? Now the addition of Chisholm changes that a little bit. Are you completely sold on their starting pitching? I don't know. And I think the Orioles, even though they have addressed the starting pitching, I mean, I still think that will be the one thing that you could circle. So I get the point is everyone's going to have something. Going to have something that's going to be their Achilles heels. They go into the postseason. So. I think the one thing I'd like to see, and maybe they'll do it before, sooner rather than later. I think at some point they need to find a third catcher so they can.
Because Raleigh's he's gonna wear out in the stretch or break down, or something not so good is going to happen to Cal Raleigh. And I understand that you need him in the lineup every day, but you need to. Give him a break behind the plate too. I imagine is Garver probably catching today? Doesn't he catch Kirby?
I'll see if I can find the lineup here real quick. But it's that. But it's they have so many DHs right now. Look at all these guys they got it: Haniger, Garver, Turner, Vossler. Now I know Turner's going to play first base too. But I mean, you've got just a plethora of DHs right now. You don't need all these guys. So what are you going to do? So what's the role?
Can we just put Haniger on the bench now?
Well, I think they will. I think that's somebody nice to have off your bench, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they need to find someone if they want to use Garver more. I mean, that's why they got Garver, right? They got Garver not to be the backup catcher. They got Garver to be the designated hitter. They paid him $25 million to do that. So they have got to find at some point add a third catcher so they don't have to have both those guys in the lineup. Because like the other, the first game against the Red Sox, when they're getting their teeth kicked in, I'm listening to the game. I was dropping the vampire off at a friend's house, like up onPoto Island. And then come back. I'm listening to the game, and they're just getting slaughtered. And earlier in the game, he had taken a ball off the hand, and they were concerned that maybe something really bad had happened. And I'm like, why is he still in the game? Get him out of the game. They're getting killed. He doesn't need to catch anymore. And I know that you run the risk. You put Garver in there, and then Garver gets hit or hurt, and then what's going to happen? Hey, there's Kathy. Surprise visit from Kathy. She's getting into the car. It's 9 o'clock. She's up. Say, can you say that?
Yes, she
Hi,
is.
Kathy. How are you? Look at Kathy. She's not happy that you're doing this, is she? Okay.
No, she doesn't mind.
Can you relay that to her?
This is
what I just said. Hey, Puck's surprised that you're up at 9.
Puck's surprised. He's surprised that you're up at 9 o'clock. Oh God, that wasn't very nice. She said to fuck off.
Daddy, that's
God,
uncalled for,
cool.
Kathy. I don't appreciate that. But it's warranted.
Yeah,
it really is warranted.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have you ever said bleep you to your wife?
Who hasn't?
Have you? In a serious argument?
Hasn't.
But isn't that like something you can't say?
No, I mean, I think
to your wife.
You argue with your wife all the time. I think you can say that. I think that's appropriate. I don't think it's not appropriate. Of course it is.
Doesn't that usually mean that you've lost the argument though when
Probably.
You resort to fuck you?
So do you think she lost that argument when I said I'm surprised that she's up at 9?
I think.
I'm not going to go down that road. I don't want to upset Kathy.
Since you went down that road, she'll ask me to wake her up.
She's still out there.
Today I was.
Okay.
I don't maybe, but like today she wanted to get up at 8 or 8:15, and so I usually will try and wake her up. But there's a part of me that's thinking, God, you're a grown ass woman, and you can't like you've got your phone has an alarm on it.
The sun's coming in through the windows. Get up.
She's a night owl, though. She's a night owl. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
I just
No,
being funny, sorry.
no, I love you too. But you meant she can't hear me, can't she?
Yeah.
No, tell her no apologies necessary.
She can't hear.
And that I deserve the fuck off. So good. I love her to death.
Yeah.
Someone told me this. Speaking of this, you brought up the Seahawks a bit ago. Somebody told me this, and I don't know if this is true or not. And I tried to text him, but I didn't hear back. That Hugh, when he was on the radio the other day, said that has made a comment that PJ Walker has looked better than Sam Howell at training camp. Yeah, that's a tough one for your bet.
Well, I mean, what is that news or something? I mean,
he's the third. He's
Greg
the
Bell
third string quarterback.
Dugar. Everybody's reporting that the competition between 2 and 3 is more spirited than the competition between 2 and 1.
This is common knowledge that Walker is outplaying Sam Howell. Oh man.
Yeah. What the hell?
I don't know, not much,
anyway?
but
God, I miss those segments. We'd ask one question and he would ramble on for like 15 minutes. And Hugh, if you're watching this, I'm just poking fun, okay?
You don't really miss it, though. It's okay.
You know what? I love Hugh. I do love Hugh. I'm just taking a shot.
So
I was just kidding about what does he know, because everyone knows that Hugh knows something about quarterback.
Do you know what
play in the
today
NFL.
is? You know what today is significant? July 31st, other than it being the last day of July.
Yeah. Well, significant to me because I have a tee time at Lost Tracks this afternoon. But
shocker that you're
July
playing golf
31st.
again. Wow. God, retirement life is good.
I'm getting a little. I'm getting a little better.
You're a good golfer.
A little better. Yeah.
You've always been a good golfer.
No.
1 month from today, I'm not sure where you're going to be at. I will be sitting in my seats at the 30-yard line at Martin Stadium on August 31st as the Washington State Cougars, America's team, opens up the 2024 campaign against the vaunted Vikings of Portland State. Now, does this make me nervous? Damn right it does. I don't like playing Portland State because there's always – last time I remember watching Portland State, we lost. And I don't want to see it again. Yeah. Well, that's just the last time I think I watched it in person. Yes, go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
Could I correct you on something? I mean, I think you're right about August 31st and Martin Stadium and all that, but you're not going to be there because you're going to be in Italy.
I was in Italy last year.
Well, you're going somewhere on vacation.
And that's where I'm going to be. Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to Europe
leaving August 20th. We're driving to Penticton. You know, ever been to Penticton?
Penticton is awesome. Penticton, Kelowna, that whole area. Take your golf clubs up there.
Going up to Penticton, camping up there for a few days. Going to go float the river. Then we're going to drive through Canada. Hopefully it's not on fire. We're going to drive through Canada, drop down into Glacier National Park and spend about 4 days at Glacier, 3 or 4 days at Glacier. And then going to make our way back in time for the game on Saturday, August 31st. Pretty nice.
Yeah. That sounds like a great trip.
Is there and what?
And
just say it. Go ahead. Say, who takes vacation during football season leading up to the year?
Well, if I'm trying to get some traction out of a podcast that I'm starting, I don't think I take time off right before the football season starts. But
I think it's rich to hear someone like you talk about work ethic. Don't you think? Listener, what do you think?
I'm trying to make a living off of this podcast, but you know what? Football season starting. Screw it. I'm going to put family ahead.
Hey, viewer, what do you think? I mean,
viewers.
when it comes to work ethic, how much should we take the advice of Jim Moore? I may check in on the road. I don't know, but
I don't care. You know what? I get sick of those heartwarming stories of everybody working so hard to achieve the American dream. You can achieve a partial dream and not bust your ass doing it. Is that okay? I mean, I think I've done okay. I think I've had a good career. Could it have been better? Probably.
So if you were in
harder, but this work hard bullshit. I get sick of that. Everybody, God, he's a hard worker. Really? Well, shit, man, I'm not.
Yeah.
Is that okay? You don't have. That was 2 seconds.
No, I'm just letting you. You're just letting you ramble. Are you done now?
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm giving you a hard time.
Stop giving me a hard time.
Because
don't make me feel guilty for taking vacation.
Like I root really.
I haven't taken a single day off since
I'm rooting hard
this.
for you. No, I know. And I'm rooting hard for you. I love you, man. I want this to be a success in the worst way. I don't really care about, the fact that you're not giving me anything. I want you to have all. Hey, don't roll your eyes.
Yeah. You know what?
Come on,
you know
love
what you
me.
got?
I know you do.
You got 4 months of something. 3 months.
No, 3.
Of something.
Hey, what are they doing with that show anyway? I mean, when are they going to come out and just go? I mean, Greg Bell can't do it forever. The Seahawks season's starting.
Maybe Greg wants to do it. I don't know. I haven't talked to Greg. I don't know. I honestly would, even if I knew something, I wouldn't say it. But I really don't know. I really have no idea what they're doing.
If they don't give that show, if they don't give that show to Ashley Ryan, they're making a mistake.
For Ashley.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
they got to give it to Ashley.
I would assume that she would want to do it. She's great.
Ashley would be terrific.
She's great at what she does. She's fantastic. She's whatever role that she would do, she would be great at it. She has all the elements to be a great lead host. Entertaining, funny, self-deprecating, just knowledgeable, all that kind of stuff.
But there's a reason why I really want Ashley to get that job, but I also don't want her to get it. And I think I've told you
because you want you want the show to stink. Okay.
Yes, I do. I don't want to root for the 10-1 show that is following us. I don't. To be honest, you we have to root for Ashley if she gets it. But if it's somebody we don't know,
I think if it's somebody,
am I bitter? Is that a bad way to live?
That's
probably
just the way that you want to live. I mean, honestly, I don't really think of it like that. But that doesn't make me any better than you.
You don't want the 10-1 show to go in the toilet.
Honestly, I don't. I don't. I don't think that there's.
I do.
If someone goes in there that I don't know, I'd just be like, okay. I mean, I really don't think about it. I don't.
I do.
I would love for her or Chris or Anders or what. Here's what I would love. I would love for one of those people that have been there for a while, and I would throw Jackson in there as well, that they would get the opportunity to do it. Because I know how hard it is. I think you do as well. I know how hard it is in this business to, grind, and you're not making a lot of money, and then you're waiting for your opportunity, and then you get passed over, because if you get passed over, to be honest with you, it's never going to happen. And that's hard. And there's so few of those jobs. A top 12 market doing sports talk radio. What is it? Let's assume every top 12 market has 2 stations, all right? So 24 stations, top 12, and 4 shows, 2 people on 4 shows. So what is that? 8 people. You start doing the math, right? 100 and what? What is that? 160 jobs, 150 jobs? There's just not a lot of jobs out there. So I would hope that, you would keep it in-house and let someone have the opportunity to do it with the people that are there. It's the same thing I have. We haven't talked about this. It's the same thing I have with the WSU play-by-play job. I'm disappointed that I didn't get a second interview. Yeah, but I'm going to be really disappointed and pissed off as somebody that didn't graduate from that school with a degree in broadcast journalism doesn't get the job. And that's going to be on Washington State for not just putting their foot down to Learfield or whoever, I think it's Learfield, and tell them you're going to hire one of ours. Because I'll tell you a little dirty little secret for Wazoo. They aren't getting much money from them. So they allow Learfield to dictate who they hire, which is ridiculous. My point to WSU would be this. What's the point of having the Murrow College that is developing broadcasters if you don't hire one of them to be your new voice? It's mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. Now, I'm going to say something that it's true or not true. I don't know. Do you think Syracuse goes and hires from outside? Maybe they do. It's just it really does. It kind of pisses me off, and they haven't even. We're a month away from the football season. They haven't hired that person. So,
yeah. Well, it's honest to God. You're very good at what you do, and I know you'd be good at play-by-play. For them to not give you a face-to-face interview was just total bullshit. It really was. What a slap in the face.
I think it's a slap in the face of anyone that went to school there that graduated with a degree, because they're gonna roll out, 3 people or whatever, someone from the East Coast that has no affiliation with the school at all. Now maybe they don't. I've heard that the guy that does the Idaho Vandals may be getting the job, and he's a graduate of Wazoo. And if that happens, and forgive me, I don't know his name, and if that happens, great. That'd be sensational. But I think that they need to get into promoting from within. So that's my long-winded point of going back to KJR, that I would to see you better promote from within.
Yeah, you better be really good too, because Chaz was really good.
He was from
he's going to be missed. It's going to be hard to follow.
And listen, and he was from the outside. He wasn't an alum, and he was great. So, but terrific. I would like them to see maybe just dip into that. And I said that even when they replaced Robertson, I wanted to see them just hire someone from within.
Yeah. Well, at least with the color analyst, we get Alex Brink, who played quarterback there. And then, the basketball broadcast, we get Craig Elo.
Maybe Elo will be back. Maybe Elo's not back. I don't know. You love Elo, all right? What?
You know what they should do? Elo's so terrible as a color analyst. How much worse could he be as a play-by-play guy? Can you imagine Craig Elo
want him on? You want him on the play-by-play? All right, we got to wrap it up. Yeah, we got to go. We're going to run out of time.
Sorry.
And we're not going to be able to get this up for all the viewers and listeners at 10 o'clock. Hey, what the puck? We end every daily puck drop with this. It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Also follow them on Instagram, Restoration1 North Seattle. Neighbor update quickly. What do we got? Have you delivered the gift card? Oh, good.
I've done nothing.
Thought you were going to do something.
I haven't done anything yet. And I had to shoo Sky out of their yard today, but today I'll get on that.
Did they see that Sky was in the yard today?
I'm hoping not, because I was over there going, Sky, Sky,
get the dog on a leash.
Come here, Sky.
I mean, come on.
Okay.
Just do, or find a property out there. First of all, you live in Bend. Don't be in a subdivision.
Yeah.
Get outside.
Yeah, and I'll keep them off baseball fields so as not to piss you off, because I know that you're a dog guy, but when they're on baseball fields, God, you turn into somebody different.
Because they shouldn't be on baseball fields. tearing up the diamond. Come on. Tearing up the infield. What are you doing?
I know you so well that when I get silence from you, it's like I've hit a nerve or I've done something that
dogs out there, those freaking dog owners. God, it freaking pisses me off. Those. I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, they're not doing anything. They're just out here. I'm like, well, your dog's digging a freaking hole right now, and some kid's gonna turn his ankle in there. Oh, well, it's not my dog. Oh God.
Yeah. And then one more thing while I'm ripping you, and then I know you have to go.
We're going to run over as always.
Promise to be better. Okay. All right. So I get a kick out of how you don't want to play with anybody on the golf course except for the people that you arrived with. Like you don't like being paired up with people. Okay. If I felt the same, what? You just think like
I just don't care for it. I don't like the small talk.
Hasn't there been haven't there been times where you've enjoyed it? Like the other day, Mikey and I got paired up with an 85-year-old guy with his dog in the cart. And that was really interesting, talking to the 85-year-old and seeing that he's still out there playing. His name was Dennis. I forget his dog's name. His dog was cool, though. I would have missed out on that.
Okay.
If I'd been
you're a better person. You always have been.
Yeah.
I just one of those little things. I just don't like.
Appreciate that.
When I go play golf, I want to play with 3 other people that I know, and not have the uncomfortable. Well, what do you do? Oh,
I'm a big time talk show host. Or wait a minute.
Hey,
I was.
So remember yesterday or on Monday we talked about. You asked me about the NFL kickoff rule. And you wanted the explanation. I found a video that shows it. Do you want to see it? Yeah, there's a video, and then we're going to explain exactly what they're going to do, the new NFL kickoff rules, okay? So there's a video of what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Kicker from the 30.
You see it?
Return team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the ball. He's fielded. And here goes Keith Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around with room on the near side. And for the first time, they get creative. And the Battlehawks have the sideline.
So did you see how they were lined up?
For Joe Powell to the end zone.
You go back and look. Do you see how they were lined up?
And now they say kicker from
That's what it's going to look like.
Return team lined up at the opposite 30. Can't move to the ball. He's fielded. And here goes
Okay, so I was looking.
Is that not Mickey Mouse?
So here are the new rules quickly. Onside kicks are illegal until the fourth quarter. You can't do an onside kick until the fourth quarter. The team must be losing to kick an onside kick. The team must announce the intention to kick an onside kick. So you have to tell the other team, I'm kicking it onside. The kicker will kick from there, as you saw there, from their own 35-yard line. Okay? The rest of the team lines up on the receiving end's 40. That make sense? Okay?
So that's...
Yeah, and then the receiving team blockers line up between the 30 and the 35-yard line. And then the returners, I'm telling you, this is so confusing. Then the returners are in the landing zone, Jim. And the landing zone is between the 10-yard line and the 20-yard line. Now it gets more confusing, okay? No one can move until the ball is caught or hits the ground in the landing zone. So once he kicks it, no one can move. So they have to sit there. If the ball goes into the end zone and you don't want to return it, because you can return it if it goes into the end zone. You have to take an old school knee. You knee it, you take a knee, the ball goes out to the 20-yard line. Any ball that goes out of the end zone, so if they kick it out of the back of the end zone, it's a touchback and it's placed at the 30. One more. Any kick short, hold on, last one. Stay with me. Any kick short of the landing zone, so that's between that 10 and 20-yard line, is considered kicking it out of bounds. So the ball is placed at the 40. Have I confused you?
Is that all of it seems Mickey Mouse, doesn't it? Maybe it won't be that way.
They're trying to increase returns
okay, so you don't
with limiting the amount of contact, and they think that it's going to increase the return game, which I love the kickoff returns, but it's going to increase it. And you brought it up on Monday that we think we'll probably get, the scoring will be up. We'll see. I'm with you. I'm going to take the over on those early games.
Okay, and then you said on the ball goes in the end zone, it comes out to the 20 instead of the 25.
If you down it in the end zone, it comes out to the 20. There's a video I'll play on Friday for you. Max Brown, remember Max Brown, former Skyline USC quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
He does I watched this whole breakdown of it. It's like 2 minutes long. We'll play it on Friday for you. It's unbelievable. Like, he does a really good job of explaining exactly what to do.
Well, the thing I was thinking about, though, are the blockers for the receiving team that are lined up. Do they just wait to move once they see the other team moves? Is that how they get their?
That's a good call. I don't know. Do they wait until they move?
Because maybe
they'll turn sideways
the
and they'll see once the ball is caught. I think that's what they do. They'll be kind of sideways. Once they see the ball is caught or lands, then they go. I don't know. It seems weird.
But how many illegal motion flags are there?
There's a great strategy to it, as Max was pointing out. I mean, you're going to try the kickers are going to be so valuable because you want to be able to, like a punt, like the coffin corner, get it in the corner. That's what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe it'll turn out to be really interesting, but the way you laid it out, it's going to take a while to get
watch the video. Well, I'll show you the video that Max did on Friday. Last thing for here, hey, what the puck? Speaking of the NFL, this is right in our wheelhouse, okay? Speaking, I said college football starts a month from now, right? Cougars are taking on Portland State. Huskies, I failed to mention, are taking on Weber State. 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. NFL starts tomorrow. You aware of that? Hall of Fame game, Bears and Texans, 5 o'clock, ABC, ESPN. And, of course, I'm going to watch because I'm going to bet on it. Texans are favored by 2.5, and the total's 31.5. Who do you got?
Well, I know that you got to go under in preseason games, especially the first week, because they're not going to be maybe the starters get one series, so they're going to bring the backups in. So under 31
under
is the way
31. I'm going to be with you on that one. I'm going to take the under on the 31.5, and then I'm going to take the Bears plus 2.5. Do we know? I don't even know. Is Caleb Williams going to play as Roman Deuce?
How far from bottom is
not as bad as betting on the
football,
WNBA
as far as degenerates go?
Preseason basketball or spring training. I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You have fun playing golf today. Who are you playing with? The boys?
Okay. I will.
I know.
Hey, we went almost an hour.
Didn't try to go an hour, but you.
Yeah. The concert people, when I work the concerts, they give me $20 for an hour. And
I'll send you $20. Well, have fun playing golf and your tea time. You can follow Jim. Where can everyone follow you there on X to get all your wisdom?
All my bullshit. You mean Cougs Go?
Right, you can follow me
at Cougs Go.
I don't.
You always
I wanted
forget
you
that.
to say it.
Yeah.
You can follow me at Puck2040 on X and also on Instagram and on TikTok at Puck_sports, and of course all the content up at Facebook. And that covers all the social media platforms. The daily Puck Drop released every day at 10 a.m. Remember, all guests released at 1 o'clock. Please like, follow, subscribe, comment on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, and, of course, at pucksports.com. Jim, we'll talk to you on Friday. Yeah, go Cougs.
Okay,
all right, we'll
Cougs.
see you later today. As always, promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!